Altima is the company's best-selling car, on track to set a record in the United States this year. But the company's not sitting on its laurels, updating it for 2016. With me is the chairman and CEO of Nissan, Ghosn. Have quality and technology almost become commoditized? Is style what sells cars these days?
Oh no, I think without any doubt, style sells cars, but style alone won't do it. That means you need to add reliability, quality, technology, because consumers are more and more demanding expectation on fuel efficiency, low emissions, but also on connectivity of the car, on autonomous devices into the car, because in fact they're giving much more empowerment to the driver. The driver can give away some of the driving at a certain point in time, take back whenever he wants to be connected. You just want to make sure that when the car is not totally disconnected from the rest of the world. So there are a lot of things coming, and we need to make sure that we are responding to these desires of the consumer. And Altima, which is an extremely important segment of the market, the mid-size sedans, the second largest segment of the market in the US, need to answer all these, I wouldn't say concerns, but all these desires of the consumer.
You're very bullish on autonomous driving, autonomous safety technology. This has the automatic braking and collision avoidance systems. The current Altima has the lane departure warning system.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of your Infinity products have the lane departure prevention systems as well. This doesn't have that. The new Murano doesn't have that. One of your product planners told me the customers didn't really want it.
Yeah.
Are they not ready to hand over the steering wheel yet? They like the other tech, but not that?
Well, we develop a lot of technologies from one side, and then car by car, we decide what technology we put in the car in function of what the consumer wants. So, because if you put a technology in a car that the consumer doesn't care so much about, you're just adding costs that the consumer doesn't want to pay for. So we have to make this balance always, segment by segment, about what are the technology which matter the most for our customers for this segment, and make sure we're not add too much to it, because at the end of the day, you need also to make sure that the price is friendly.
How far away do you think we are from every car having that sort of safety technology?
Oh, that means little by little, these technology are going to become common and become expected. When it's expected, that means the consumer is not willing to pay for them, that are part of the basic deal. But this is, in a certain way, every single new technology is going to end up this way. So it's a question of time before everything becomes basic and you move to another level of technology, which particularly is centered on connectivity and autonomous cars.
One of those is the new Series Eyes Free that this has, integrates the iPhone into the car. Eventually, Nissan's going to be offering Apple CarPlay as well in some of your models. We hear now that Apple itself may be building cars in a couple of years, electric cars, no doubt. When and if that happens, when they're a direct competitor with Nissan, does that make it more difficult for you to work with them on these other technologies, these other systems?
Well, as you know, they're not being very transparent about their objectives. So for the moment, it's only speculation. We know they are hiring a lot of competent people in the industry. So obviously, it looks like the intention is to build a car. They already announced in electric cars, which in a certain way is just a confirmation that electric cars are really here to stay and to grow in our industry. I don't think a tech company will be moving, to build a car in order to do the same thing or compete with existing cars. I think if they're coming, it's because they see that there is a lot of innovation coming the way of the car industry, and they want to bring their contribution to it, which is fine. I totally agree on the fact that the car 10 years down the road is going to be very different from where it is today, because of this search for zero emission, low emission, more connectivity, more safety, active, passive safety, and autonomy of driving, eventually driverless cars. So, the consumers are saying, yes, we are interested into this technology, but just let's make sure that the car continue to be attractive, the car continue to have a, high, good driving performance, not only a source of peace of mind, safety, but also a source of pleasure, driving performance. But driving performance is, I want to drive when I want to drive, and I don't want to drive when I don't want to drive, which may happen when you are stuck in a traffic jam, where you can eventually leave your car driving you without any intervention, and eventually doing something else. So there are a lot of things we can do to make driving much more pleasant and allow people who want to use this time, the time they spent in the car, in a way which is more useful.
You make the best-selling electric car in the world, the Nissan Leaf. Right now in the United States, that's the only electric car you sell, and at least under the Nissan brand, you don't currently have any hybrids. When can we expect to see an expansion in either electric car offerings in the U.S. or a resurgence of hybrids with Nissan?
Well, we are concentrating our sales on a small number of cars, the Leaf being one of them, but we have also a light commercial vehicle, which is the ENV200, which is also pure electric. Because one of the obstacles to the development of the sales of the electric car is not the product itself, it's the infrastructure. That means people are looking for charging station, and whenever they don't see the charging station, it limits their appetite to buy this kind of cars. So people are enthusiastic about electric car. Those who are driving the electric cars or testing electric cars think it's something which is at the level of expectation or beyond their level of expectation. What we need to remove is this hesitation coming from lack of infrastructure. We're working hard with communities, with states, in order to favor this development. But I can tell you it's coming. It's coming also because the offer of electric cars is getting larger. Most of the car makers are coming with their own electric cars, which is going to make it much more exciting and much more enticing for the consumer to jump into this technology.
Another alternative fuel you're adding to Nissan's lineup later this year or next year is diesel in the new Titan pickup. Obviously, with the situation with Volkswagen, there's a bit of a cloud around diesel right now. There's talk that regulators around the world are going to start looking at every diesel car to make sure that they're meeting the emission standards. Have you heard from the regulators yet? Is that something you're concerned about at all?
As you know, Nissan does not produce or sell diesel engine in the United States. The only diesel engine who's going to will come when we will launch Titan, our all new large pickup truck, and it's going to be equipped with the diesel engine from Cummins. Okay, so we feel good about it. That's about the US. So all this polemic about diesel engine in the United States is not something of concern for Nissan. In general, I think it's every single company producing diesel is going to have to come out and make a statement about its own situation. And I'm expecting all the car makers to come with this kind of statement in the next hours or in the next days, because everybody's interested into making sure that there is no breach of trust or hesitation, around your product. So I think all the car makers will get there.
Pickups are big sellers in the United States. This is your best seller now, but the top selling segment are the compact crossover like the Nissan Rogue. You're going to be increasing production next year, importing cars from Japan to meet demand. How long before the Rogue's your best seller and the Altima is not your best seller?
Look, the compact crossover is the largest segment in the US today. This year, it's the first time. It is number one. It used to be the mid-size sedan. Now it's a compact crossover. We cannot build enough Rogues. Today we are full in our capacity in North America. We are using some capacity in our plant in Korea. And now we're going to have the support from some capacities in Japan. This is not a switch in our strategy. Our strategy is really, as much as possible, have our supply localized in the market where we are selling cars. But when we are taken by surprise by the strength of the demand, existing capacity can help you on a temporary base to give you an additional supply. And that's what we're doing by using capacity in Japan to supply more Rogues.
Chairman and CEO of Nissan, Ghosn, thanks for showing us the new Altima.